Welcome to the World Class Speaking podcast series. This is a place where you will learn how to present, persuade, and profit by improving your communication skills. Each episode in the series is a chapter from the book World Class Speaking in Action. And each chapter is written by a certified world class speaking coach. I'm your host, Matt Miller, and I've carefully crafted and summarized each chapter in the book. When speaking, you can have all the tools, complete all the research, and do all the preparation, but you can still be a very mediocre speaker. If you want to advance your speaking career by making a name for yourself, getting repeat business, and being memorable, then you need to go bald. Now, I'm not talking about the head of the hair. I'm talking about the acronym BALD, B-A-L-D. In this episode, you're going to learn the 4 words that will propel and excel your speaking career towards world-class status by being bald. This is the second episode in the series, and it's given by Sarah Hilton, who is the certified world-class speaking coach of this chapter. And I am going to give my summary and my take on what she talked about in the chapter. And the chapter is the 4 words that make a world-class speaker, and it's in the book World Class Speaking in Action. Sarah Hilton is a certified world-class speaking coach. She has studied human behavior and communication for over 25 years, and she's also a coach and a teacher on presentation techniques. This episode is specifically very important because knowing these 4 words can make you a world-class speaker. It's what you can fall back on. It's what you can go back to when you feel stuck, lost, or out of alignment with yourself. These 4 words act as guiding principles to follow. Let's now jump into the 4 words. Become a bald speaker. B-A-L-D, believe, authentic, learn, and dream. First, believe. When you're giving a speech, the fundamental thing that you have to be very clear on is if you believe in your message. Are you excited about it? Because your message is going to be the overall through line of your speech. When you think about it, if you can summarize your message into one sentence, and then everything else throughout your speech should really align with that central message and central theme. When you're creating your message, think about what do you want your audience to do, think, or know after they've completed listening to your speech. And then just being very honest with yourself. Like, do you truly believe in your message? Because if you truly believe, then you have a good chance at getting your audience to resonate with you. That's why it's very important to believe. The second letter is A for authentic. When you're going up and giving a speech, are you speaking as you, or are you putting on a face mask or a hat, and are you being an actor? A lot of times, we'll pretend to be people we aren't because of the consequences. A question you should ask yourself is, are you sharing and being vulnerable and giving stories and experiences so that the audience can resonate and connect with you? Because with vulnerability comes connection. That's why being authentic is so important. And then L stands for learn. Are you an avid reader, a podcast listener, a researcher, an observer? Are you a lifelong learner? As you progress throughout your speaking journey, whether maybe right now you just have conversations with coworkers, or maybe you're giving higher scale speeches at work, or maybe you have goals and ambitions to become a certified world-class speaking coach or to give a keynote speech. You have to continue to learn, and you have to continue to grow and expand your mindset. I really became a lifelong learner about 3 years ago. And I was at work one day and I went into my car and I would typically listen to music. I'll listen to music during my lunch break. I'll listen to music at the gym. I'll listen to music on my commutes to work. And then one time when I went onto my lunch break, I remember turning on the radio and there was more annoying commercials. And I thought to myself, I've had enough of this. I turned off the radio. And then I remembered that the day before, I was listening to the radio and somebody talked about a podcast. And I thought, I'm going to try this podcast app out. So I opened up my phone and I went to the podcast app. And the thing that I was most interested at the time was the topic of finance. I typed in finance in the search bar, and the very first thing that came up was a financial independent retire early podcast episode. I remember it was by Andrew Giancola. It was FIRE, FIRE, Financial Independence Retire Early. And I listened to that episode. And instead of getting frustrated with the music and the commercials that I was listening to earlier, that episode gave me 30 minutes of value. I remember walking out of my car, going back into the building for work, and feeling a lot better about myself because I spent 30 minutes of being productive. And I couldn't wrap my head around how I got all this for free. And that was the moment that I decided that I was going to supplement podcasts and audiobooks for music. I remember I went back into my car later that day, and on the drive home, I also listened to podcasts. I listened to that same channel, and this time I got another half an hour on my commute home. And I learned more about money and finance. And I remember I did this routine for months and months. And not only did I do it during my commutes and my lunch break, but I also went to the gym. And I would go on the treadmill and I would go lift weights. And instead of listening to the music, I listened to this podcast. And after about a month, maybe two, I listened to hundreds of episodes. And I felt like from 2 months ago prior to that, I knew very little about finance. Then flash forward 2 months after listening to these hundreds of episodes, I felt like I could confidently teach somebody about saving, investing, retirement accounts, compounding interest, and all the things financially related. And this is when it dawned on me that it's so important to adopt a growth mindset and to learn as much as you possibly can. And I did all of this during time where I was just wasting listening to music. Sure, there's sometimes when you go to the gym or you go on a car ride, you want to listen to music. Maybe it makes you excited or pumps you up. But nothing gets me more excited than learning something new and thinking that I could use that to improve my life. And the one key distinction was that I never thought I had the time to learn. But that wasn't true. I realized that you have more time to learn than you think. You just have to think of when you have that time to learn. And for me, it was during those lunch breaks, it was during those commutes where I was able to utilize that time to learn. And then the D stands for dream. So after you believe, after you're authentic, after you adopt that lifelong learning mindset, number 4 is dreaming. Think about it. Do you have that North Star goal? Do you have dreams and aspirations? And then have you created a strategy to achieve that dream? Maybe your dream is to become a keynote speaker. If that's your North Star, then think about what are all the goals and objectives that align with that dream? And then breaking down each of those goals into actions. Spending 30 minutes a day reading this book, listening to this podcast on my commute to work. And then after time, your actions are going to correlate with your results, and the results will take care of themselves. But if you think about it, if you have that dream, that's the starting point. And I love this quote by Brené Brown, who's also well known in the speaking industry. She's also written a book on vulnerability that's very highly sold. And she says, vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. To give a recap, we need to go bald as a speaker. We need to believe, be authentic, learn, and dream. By believing, we're going to be able to have confidence in our message. By being authentic, we're going to be able to be ourselves and connect with our audience. By learning, we're going to adopt that growth mindset and always continue to strive to get better. And then D, for dream, always be future thinking and aspiring to be our best selves and follow that dream that we have. And then to achieve being bald, a couple things that I didn't mention that can help is getting coaching, building a team of other people, setting yourself a goal. Another thing is you can build a dream board, and that'll remind yourself of your dreams. And basically, what a dream board is you can go on an editing website, or you can make a collage of pictures about things that you want to achieve in your life or things that you aspire to be or do. You can go on Canva and you can just take random pictures off the internet, collage them all together. Then you can actually export that to your phone screensaver or towards your laptop background. And it's a good reminder every time that you open your phone or open your laptop that these are the things that you want to accomplish. And maybe you actually print them out and put them on a collage and you hang that up in your office. But that would be an example of building a dream board. And then lastly is checking in with yourself, because what you don't measure typically doesn't get improved. Now that you know that you need to go bald as a speaker, take action towards this. I encourage you to make a dream board or make a vision board. And for me, I ended up doing the same thing. And I went on Canva, as I explained earlier. And I took pictures of the house that I wanted, me speaking in front of a stage, me having a boat, being able to fly in a plane whenever I wanted to, being financially free. And I ended up compiling all of these different things into a dream board. A couple other things I just pulled it up is vision, dreams, and goals. Running a marathon was another thing that I put on my dream board. I actually accomplished this a couple months ago. I checked that off the bucket list. Being a #1 New York Times bestselling author, that would be an incredible goal. Having a podcast that's successful, having an indoor gym, a pontoon boat, all these things. It gets you excited so you can think about it and that you can work towards it. In the next episode, you're going to learn how to take action the world-class way, and it's going to be all about action, what you can actually do to make progress at becoming a world-class speaker. That's all we've got for this episode on the World Class Speaking podcast series. Until next time, remember that becoming a great communicator is so important because it leads to greater impact, influence, and income. Thank you for listening and have a great day.